Hi guys, I'm Dr. Khan and hope you guys are all doing well. Today I am going to be talking to you about the selfish programming that has occurred in society. Again, the selfish programming that has occurred in society. What do I mean by that? Okay, so society, culture, and our family upbringing teaches us to be codependent, unhappy, unaware individuals. Society, culture, and our upbringing teaches us to be codependent, unhappy, unaware individuals. Okay. Why do they program us this way? They program us this way basically because society lives on consumerism. This is how everyone gets paid. Think about it. Drug dealers get paid by individuals who want to numb themselves, who have dysfunction. Judges get paid by family issues, by criminal activity, right? Credit cards, government gets paid how? With the taxes. And there's credit card debt. So everyone's making money off of everybody, okay? So consumerism lives on our misery, basically, because this is how the cycle works. Now, how does society teach us to be codependent? How do they program us? Okay. Now, number one, they program us to be codependent to achievements, have these intense desires, intense attachments, where, oh my goodness, if we don't reach this certain standard, that something is wrong with us, right? Number two, they teach us to be codependent to idealistic thinking, expectations. For instance, we have to have the ideal family. We have to have the ideal relationship. And that's injected with Mother's Day and Father's Day and Valentine's Day, movies, songs, where you have to have this perfect love. And if you don't, something is wrong with you, right? Valentine's Day, if you're not in a relationship, it makes you feel empty. Or you have, it's Mother's Day and you may not have the best relationship with your mother. Again, idealistic thinking, right? So that creates that sadness and emptiness in us. Okay. Also, number three, society teaches us to be codependent to success. The big house, right? The beautiful car. So what ends up happening? Families are in such debt, in intense debt. And the family dynamic breaks down because everyone's just paying off their credit card and working so many jobs to meet a certain standard, right? These standards that, again, for some reason, it's portrayed that's going to make us and bring us happiness, okay? And then society and programs us to be codependent to labels. So they teach us that authority figures, whatever label it is, there's a certain standard that comes with it or expectation that comes with that thinking. So individuals don't question labels anymore. So it can be an authority figure, and again, you have certain expectations, and this is where some people get abused or taken advantage of, right? So if it's a religious figure or whatever label, and they can't see past that label because they're so programmed to think that these labels come with like good and they can't see past that these are individuals and humans, okay? So what I basically want to say is society is programming us to be codependent, unaware, unhappy individuals because that's how consumerism works. Think about it. Think about it logically. You're all smart. Think about it, okay? What you want to remember is that we're born innately happy. We are innately happy individuals, right? Think about an infant, a toddler. They're just smiling all the time and happy because that's our natural state. But as soon as we're born, all the dynamics that I mentioned program us to be this certain way, codependent to achievements, to idealistic expectations, success, labels, and that's what ends up happening. Now, let's go a step further. What happens how is this programming fed into us? How is it delivered and reinforced? Okay, basically by media. By media, it's this lack of awareness, right? They inject these ideas with the movies and music of how our life should be and how we should react when we don't receive these things we're programmed to be codependent to. So, for instance, oh my goodness, I didn't get my love, that idealistic relationship. Oh well, let me go numb myself with alcohol and drugs. Okay, so now the drug dealers will make money, or you know what, the therapist will make money, and you see how it works. Okay, so basically, what's happening is this humans as a whole, it's creating this dysfunctional dynamic, and then this is passed down to families. Think about it, where mom and dad are too busy living out their programming because they need to meet these standards, right? Because society has trained us to be codependent to these standards, right? So then the children never get validated. Just see how many layers it goes down to. So the children never get validated. And now they're looking again for validation outside of themselves, perfectly falling into this codependent cycle, right? This codependent cycle. And that's what ends up happening. And it's really, really sad. You need to be very, very aware of what's happening and what kind of programming is happening around you and to your children, right? Just be very, very aware. Identify what's happening. And just observe it. Just take what I'm saying and just process it. Just process it. It's a lot to take in, but just process it. Just process it for a minute. Just process it. Yeah, it's intense. Just process it. Process it. Okay. So, moving on. Basically, there's this selfish programming that's summarized, that's going on, right? To create stress and misery in our lives through debt, idealistic thinking, attachments, cravings, desires, really intense, unhealthy desires, labels, right? This robotic way of just achieving because we need to be validated, right? And so what this creates in humanity is unavailable, emotionless, empty individuals, right? And in a family dynamic, individuals who are empty, busy, robotic parents. And what ends up happening is after that is then you have these parents who have children who never get validated, invalidated offsprings. And what happens? Let's go a little further. What happens? Okay. Then you have children who develop codependency tendencies. You have some children that develop narcissistic tendencies, and some very extreme who may start having sociopathic tendencies. Okay, so the codependent child or child with codependence issues, those are the individuals with low self-esteem, right? Who always in a robotic state, can't feel, always it's all about everybody else but themselves. They always sacrifice at the expense of themselves. Then you have the individuals with narcissistic individuals who are were disconnected to themselves, and they're very angry, and then they demand it when they get older. They demand attention and they demand validation, and so they can't see you. It's always about them, right? And they can never be wrong. They're very defensive. Sociopaths are the extreme levels where they're totally 100% disconnected to self and humanity, and that's where the crimes come in and the shootings come in. Do you see this cycle? If you are not aware of it, if you do not reprogram yourself and start developing healthy, non-codependent ways, this will continue, and human dysfunction will continue. I'm not saying everyone is like this, in my opinion. Not everyone is like this. There are healthy families. There are healthy dynamics. But again, these are individuals who are very, very aware. Very, very aware. Okay? So I just want you to be very attuned to what's going on, how you've been programmed, what kind of programming that's still occurring, and just process it. Process what's going on. Process what's going on. Okay, so what kind of solutions can I give you to help out with this selfish programming that has occurred by culture, society, and family upbringing? Firstly, be aware of what kind of programming that has happened. What are some of your attachments right? What are some of your idealistic thinking? What are some, do you not see labels for what they are? Do you get blindsided by like an authority figure? Or can you stand up for yourself? What kind of success, ideologies you have, what success means to you? Are you just paying off debt over and just living your life paying off debt? So acknowledging what kind of programming has occurred, and then processing it, observing yourself when you do engage in these types of robotic behavior. And that's number one, right? Number two, which is a very, very important, is you need to connect with yourself again. You need to connect firstly with that inner child, connect with that person, that little 7-year-old, 6-year-old self. Then connect with that adolescent self. Then connect with that young adult. Connect with yourself now, or whatever stage you're in. Connect with that person. Understand that it wasn't your fault. You didn't know. And forgive that. Have compassion for that person at each stage of their life. And then start reprogramming your mind with better non-codependent thinking. That what happiness really means to you, right? What success really means to you, and go on from there. All right, guys, I hope this helps. I know it was an intense level of awareness. You may have to watch this a couple of times to understand what's going on. You may need to take some time to process. Once you start healing, it is going to take some time, but once you start developing healthy, non-codependent ways of thinking, society, humanity will strive, and there's going to be more light and love and peace in the world. So just process what I'm saying. Just process it, and just let it sink in and see where it goes for you. Alrighty, take care. Hope this helps. I'm Dr. Khan, and lots of love, peace, and happiness to you, to your family, and to the world. Take care.